Some people love to joke about serious things, even with the name of God. And the problem is that when the subject is faith, divine justice seems unforgiving. Many artists and public figures have learned that the hard way. Just one ill-timed joke or an attitude seen as disrespectful, and heavy consequences show up right after. Whether it is a mocking comment, a provocative song, or even a misunderstood decision, the effects can come quickly and in a surprising way. These will be the cases you will see today. In February of 2022, comedian Heather McDonald was performing at Tempe Improv in the state of Arizona when she decided to joke about two topics many people prefer to avoid: Jesus and COVID-19. The audience laughed as she said she had already taken every vaccine possible against flu, herpes, and COVID-19, and even bragged about feeling great. In the middle of the excitement, she blurted out that Jesus must love her more than everyone else. She barely finished the sentence and dropped hard to the floor. The audience thought it was part of the joke until they realized the fall was real. She fainted with such force that she suffered fractures. The show stopped immediately and the comedian had to be helped on stage.
Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
Heather was taken to the hospital and luckily recovered after a few days. During one of his sermons in the United States of America, Pastor Brandon Robertson decided to put God to the test, and the result was, at the very least, curious. Known for his controversial sermons and activist speeches, he began to question the church's traditional teachings, saying that some biblical interpretations were outdated. But right in the middle of the speech, the entire temple plunged into darkness. The lights suddenly went out, and right after, a thunderclap boomed outside, as if the sky had answered personally.
Dying to self, about new life, about
The audience was startled, and the pastor, trying to keep things light, joked that it was not God judging him, but just a simple electrical problem. After the scare, the service went on as usual, but it was hard to convince people that the lightning was just a coincidence. In 2012, Lady Gaga decided to play with fire, or rather, with faith. The singer released the song Judas, in which she appears as a kind of Mary Magdalene, in love with Jesus' betrayer. The song became a smash and, at the same time, a scandal. The singer, as always, did not back down. She said the lyrics were about loving someone who does not deserve forgiveness and that nobody understood her divine art. During a show in Auckland, in New Zealand, Lady Gaga was excitedly singing Judas when she ended up taking a hit no one expected. One of the dancers was trying to remove a structure from the stage and, by accident, struck the singer right on the head. The impact was strong enough to make her dizzy, but even so, she kept the show going as if nothing had happened. The internet did not forgive, and soon comments appeared saying it was a divine warning. In Los Angeles, Kathy Griffin gave her fans a scare, but not because of a stage joke. The 64-year-old comedian was seen walking near her home, showing her natural red hair, with the wind messing up the famous bangs and no makeup on her face. The transformation drew attention, since in just a few months, she went through difficult health moments. In April, Kathy revealed that she had a hysterectomy to prevent cancer. She had her uterus, ovaries, and fallopian tubes removed and, even so, managed to joke about it. It was not the only scare. In 2021, she had to remove half a lung because of cancer, despite never having smoked. Between surgeries and changes in her look, Kathy Griffin showed that she can face the toughest moments with humor and style. The audience follows closely, laughing and rooting, while she turns serious problems into stories only she knows how to tell. In 2018, singer Celine Dion decided to launch a children's clothing line that ended up drawing attention for reasons she did not expect. Some pieces were criticized for containing symbols that many people considered satanic. The controversy spread quickly, generating comments and debates about how far fashion can go. Years later, the singer began to face a serious problem. She was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that causes progressive muscle rigidity and painful spasms whenever there are loud noises or strong emotions. The disease made the artist's daily life even more difficult. Even with the challenges, Celine continued working and maintaining her presence in music. The health issue, combined with the controversy over the children's line, ended up creating an impression of irony of fate. Many internet users said it was divine retribution for her actions. In 2022, Logan Paul decided to enter a debate about religion during an episode of the Impulsive podcast and ended up getting himself into big trouble. The discussion with his friend George Janko, a devout Christian, began about respect for beliefs but quickly turned into a competition over which God is real. Logan ended up saying that perpetuating certain beliefs was silly and deserved satire, even criticizing his friend's faith in front of other people. The result came quickly. The internet caught fire. Outraged comments appeared from all sides, criticizing Logan for disrespecting someone's religion, even more so that of a close friend. The following year, Logan Paul admitted in another interview that he paid dearly for it. 3 weeks after the episode, he went through a real mess. He suffered violent food poisoning in Qatar, had equipment confiscated at the airport, and went through a series of small setbacks that seemed endless. He made it clear he would not joke about God anymore, learning the hard way that certain limits cannot be tested. In 2022, Ricky Gervais decided to take his acid humor to the limit in his stand-up special Supernature, released on the Netflix platform. The comedian, known for provoking religions and taboo topics, put the audience in a dilemma: laugh or be scandalized. During the show, he made jokes about divine punishments and diseases, suggesting that certain tragedies could be the result of heavenly choices, provoking reflections on faith and morality. The result was quick and heavy. Many shows were canceled, invitations disappeared, and boycotts appeared from all sides. The internet did not forgive, and fans and critics argued non-stop about the limits of humor. The repercussions showed that joking about certain themes has a price. The consequences arrived offstage as well. Between cancellations and criticism, the comedian had to deal with a domino effect that affected his schedule and his image. In 1912, the Titanic left the city of Southampton for its first Atlantic crossing, carrying dreams and certainties that nothing could sink it. The heavy and grand vessel was considered the most modern of its time, with 16 compartments that could be sealed in case of emergency. There were rumors that Captain Edward Smith had said that not even God would sink the ship. The phrase spread quickly among passengers and journalists, giving rise to the myth that the Titanic was invincible. Some passengers felt too safe with that exaggerated confidence. The media helped, praising the ship's luxury, size, and technology, but ignoring that every human machine has its limits. When the Titanic hit an iceberg, confidence turned into disbelief. Compartment doors were closed, alarms sounded, but the ice made the impossible happen. The ship began to sink. Those who thought they were safe were shocked by the speed of the disaster. Many passengers discovered that human arrogance can come at a high price. What seemed like a safe bet turned into tragedy. In the end, those who felt invincible learned the hard way that mocking God, or fate, sometimes has devastating consequences. At a certain show, Madonna took the stage to sing Living for Love, wearing a long cape, while her dancers appeared with horns, creating a questionable atmosphere that caught everyone's attention. The mood was dramatic and bold, but the boldness almost turned into disaster. In the middle of the performance, the cape got stuck on a staircase on the stage, and Madonna lost her balance and fell. She got up quickly and continued the performance as if nothing had happened. The dancers kept the choreography as if trying to minimize the incident, but the audience did not fail to notice the irony of the moment. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, Gaviões da Fiel entered the avenue with an opening commission that stirred many people's faith. In the parade, Jesus and Satan were shown in a clash, in a choreography that director Edgar Jr. said had been designed to provoke the audience. The presentation divided opinions. While some applauded the boldness, others complained on social networks, calling the parade disrespectful and religious intolerance. A few days later, the city was hit by heavy flooding. The heavy rain caused inundations, landslides, and even deaths in some neighborhoods. On the internet, many religious people began to associate the disaster with the parade's supposed provocation, saying the rain was a divine message to remind everyone that you do not play with other people's faith. Edgar Jr. said the idea was to dramatize the fight between good and evil, but he did not expect the reaction to reach that level. The parade became a national topic, and many people discovered that when you deal with sacred symbols in public, the mood can change quickly. Conor McGregor has always been known for talking too much and provoking wherever he goes. In an interview, he said that if he had to fight Jesus Christ, he would come out the winner. The comment became a joke, a headline, and an immediate target of criticism.
Me versus Jesus in the octagon. I tell you what, there's not a man alive that can beat me. But Jesus ain't alive, is he? I'd still whoop his ass.
A few years later, life found a way to show that you do not always get away unscathed from excesses. In a fight, McGregor broke his leg and lost in painful fashion. Even so, he remained controversial, keeping contentious attitudes inside and outside the octagon. The result was a ban from the UFC until 2026 due to doping problems. The curious thing is that shortly afterward, McGregor posted on social networks a totally different message. He said he was living a moment of peace, valuing family and faith. He declared that Jesus is king and that family is life. The post immediately resonated for its irony, since the fighter who once said he would fight Jesus now presented himself as totally religious. Lil Nas X released the video for J Christ in 2021 and caused quite an uproar. In the video, he puts himself in Jesus' place and even shows Moses in bold and sensual scenes. However, many critics, and even other Christian rappers, said he was crossing the line and mocking other people's faith. The episode generated heated discussions and comments on social networks, and he had to apologize for the video's content, mainly for the references to communion. Since then, Lil Nas X's career has shown signs of decline, with his most recent releases getting less traction. Many people see this sequence as a kind of natural consequence, as if divine justice had come back to charge its price. During the Golden Globes in Beverly Hills, comedian Nikki Glaser decided to provoke laughs in a risky way. While commenting on the winners' speeches, she said that nobody had thanked God and added that this was no surprise. In this godless town, the audience laughed, but outside there, the reaction was quite different. In a short time, Nikki became the target of a flood of criticism. Content creators, celebrities, and part of the Christian community were outraged, accusing the comedian of mocking religion. And, as if the confusion were not big enough, a few days later a gigantic wildfire took over the region, forcing more than 100,000 people to leave their homes. On social networks, many began to connect the facts. Some said it was all just a coincidence, but others saw the episode as a kind of divine punishment. Nikki, who until then joked about everything, preferred silence. In Houston, in the state of Texas, Joel Osteen was the darling pastor of American television. Charismatic and with a toothpaste commercial smile, he filled stadiums with his sermons about faith and prosperity. But the public began to grow suspicious when they noticed that, in his words, following God seemed to come along with a mansion, a private jet, and tailored suits. Many people said he mixed religion with material goods and that, in the end, his faith seemed to have a bank account. But the big scandal happened in 2017, during Hurricane Harvey. While thousands of Houston residents lost their homes and sought shelter, Joel Osteen's huge church, Lakewood Church, with a capacity for more than 16,000 people, kept its doors closed. The reason? According to the pastor himself, the place was flooded, but videos posted on social networks showed the opposite. The building was dry and fully usable, the population was outraged, and the pressure was so great that Osteen eventually gave in and opened the doors days later. By then, the damage was done. People called the pastor a hypocrite and said he only remembered to help when cameras were around. The man who preached prosperity and kindness became the target of memes and criticism worldwide. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.